everybody, and welcome back to Zeldads.
Yeah, Zeldads. Yeah, a lot's changed since we last recorded a podcast. Yeah, we're both dads. Bit of a life update there.
Yep, and hence why things have been slow, but you know, we're slowly getting back into things, and outside of both of us having kids and all of that in our personal lives, a lot of Zelda things also kind of happened in between, you know, so we got quite a bit of updates.
So I believe the last time we did a podcast was pre-Switch 2 launch, right? So so we've got quite a lot that's happened since then. I mean, obviously, there was the few Zelda games that there's...
Too much, though.
There's still enough, you know. This is a Zelda drought, you know, as we always get between the big releases. But there's still, you know, there's enough to talk about. There's obviously those the Switch 2 releases of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which I know you've been grinding on. I mean, I'm a fake fan. I've never even collected all the Koroks, let alone do what you're doing.
Come on. You don't, like, that is not expected from any player. The Koroks are like the biggest insult when collecting them all. But yes, I've 100%ed Tears of the Kingdom this year. A big reason was because of the re-release on the Switch 2. Not necessarily because, it's HD and it's running amazingly. It's actually because of Zelda Notes. Zelda Notes really brought the game like a second life. Hell, I'll be honest, it was my game of the year last year. Like, I just said, literally, Tears of the Kingdom is my game of the year. I stole it from... a viewer of mine, shout out Tiny Humans, but he was saying how that is the game of the year. I'm thinking about it, like, that is the game I played most this year, and it's the year that I feel like I can definitively say that Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of all time. Yo, on a Zeldudes video, dude, no Tears of the Kingdom slander? What's going on, dude?
Right, because I'm right in saying that Tears of the Kingdom's 100% is different to Zelda Note, what Zelda Notes counts as 100%, right? Because it's got all of the additional trophies and medals. And...
Yeah, so many trophies. So like, if you boot up my Tears of the Kingdom file right now, it will say 100% on the map. But no, there's a lot of things I'm missing, like certain medals I gotta get with killing everything, or like walking certain kilometers, or like climbing. I don't. They have like very unique things, but I'm gonna try to get them all. I'm like 4 or 5 medals away. I'm 6, 7 medals away.
Stop it.
Get up with that.
Because I did I did the lore, I did the voice notes, and then I tapped out of Zelda Notes. I did, like, you know, I like some of the features, but again, like I just feel that it's so weird having to like look at your phone, then look at the screen, then.
What do you mean? It's your Sheikah It's a Sheikah in real life, bro. You get to, I loved it, dude. Something about it. It was like, so we didn't get the Wii U gamepad kind of second screen, but we got this. And honestly, dude, so I would play the game in pro mode, and I would literally use the map. While it isn't updating real time, it's like every 3 seconds. It works, like legit. It's an external screen. I'm not gonna lie, Zelda Notes really, it's weird because it doesn't actually offer much outside of, you said, like the lore is the real meat and potatoes, but like. Just the companionship of a Purapad in real life is something special. I gotta really drag that up. It's real life, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played much Zelda this year outside of the Zelda game, sort of, that we got.
If it's in Japan, Zelda Muso, but here it's not.
There you go. Yeah, true. It doesn't even have Zelda in the name. Yeah. But I mean, you know, just in like a. Maybe not one word, in a few words, what did you think of Age of Imprisonment?
I'm imprisoning war. We got to know more about that. That was
there
nice.
There you go, yeah. So that was the imprisoning war.
Yeah, I mean, so Zelda Notes didn't really tickle your fancy too much. Let's move on to Hyrule Warriors, is what you're saying, right? So you enjoyed it, would you say? Like, I'm sure, I know when it comes to lore, I didn't, like Zelda Notes, that was probably the most
I didn't have a bad time, you know, playing it, but, you know, I've never been a big fan of Hyrule Warriors, like, the gameplay. I did quite like the Wii U one, like the original Hyrule Warriors, and then Age of Calamity and Age of Imprisonment. I think I preferred how in the original game it was much more focused on enemy bases and, like, actually taking bases seemed to do... There was more... It's been a few years since I played it, so I might be misremembering, but it felt like there was more strategy than just go into a base, kill the powerful enemy, go into the next base, kill the powerful enemy, over and over and over.
It felt really...
So, like, Age of
simplistic compared to any other Warriors game, and
so,
they're
like,
already very simple.
Yeah, so it's in terms of gameplay, you know, I didn't love it. It's not my sort of game. I play Zelda because it's so much slower. You know, you can take your time, you explore these environments at your own pace and whatever, rather than like go. It's, you know, it's not my cup of tea. But saying that, this was a game set during King Raru's Hyrule, like the actual imprisoning war. That side of things, I absolutely loved it. Like, you know, the story was, in a weird way, it's like they had such a difficult job to do because we already knew the story. So it's like, if they're going to do a canon game based on a story we know from like A to Z, how do they make that interesting and like worth your money if you're someone like me that buys the game just for the story? And they did. I don't know. They added just enough that it made it its own thing, but also they didn't do an Age of Calamity and, you know, branch off in a different direction that sort of makes the story feel less important because it's not the actual events.
Yeah, we're really happy about that.
Yeah,
really
but what about you? What do you think?
So, yeah, I mean, I guess this kind of shows like our, not necessarily conflict, but like our different biases. Like, I'm much more gameplay oriented, and hence why like maybe the Tears of the Kingdom update was enough to really get me back into the game. You just accepted the lore and, you know, what more you can take, and same goes for this game. It was really the lore that drove you in, and don't get me wrong, lore was a big reason and what made me excited for this game, because you're right, it is another Warriors game, and sadly these games are really shallow. Don't get me wrong, it does require some skill, but not that much skill. And even if it does, let's say you play on really hard difficulty and you have to be very precise and strategic with your movement, it's grindy, it's monotonous, it gets repetitive, sadly. And yeah, I think my biggest issue with that game is, like you said, there wasn't enough new things. I did like the new sync abilities, you know, clapping to clap enemies, and you know, they clearly emphasized on your new like other abilities and not using your Muso, which is your normal, like, you know, green meter, or not green in this game, I guess, yellow meter special attack. You know, like that is like, it's called Muso. Like in the actual Dynasty Warrior games, they call it your Muso. So that clearly is underutilized in this game. They don't want you to just build up that meter and use it, and build up that meter and use it. They want you to break their weak point and then try to do sync strikes and other like attacks while they're doing special attacks. And I don't know, for me, it just, it got really grindy. But outside of the gameplay, of course, the story was so amazing in the sense of like the nothingness we got in Tears of the Kingdom. It felt so remedied, but also like, you can tell when making Tears of the Kingdom, they had no idea they were going to do this. Like, people are like, oh no, Nintendo planned all along. It was, you know, even down to, you know, Calamo. But like, no, it's not. It was all just kind of them finding ways to piece things together. And here's the thing, we got to give them credit. They did a good job, right? Both Clink, or rather the Construct. I call him Clink.
Knight Construct. The
Knight Construct. I like Clink,
and
right, it makes sense, and he clinks while he moves. So I'm just like, everything about the name is just perfect. But him and Calamo, it's so cool concept, especially with how, you know, I guess we're gonna, if you want to get into the lore and spoiler,
we could touch on it. I assume most people that are really interested in the lore to that extent, to the point where they'd be worried about spoilers, would have played it or viewed it on YouTube or something like that.
Cutscenes. Yeah, I know a couple of people who don't want to even play the game, and I don't blame them. Again, if you're coming for the lore, the gameplay is not gonna interest you, especially if you're a true Zelda fan. Like you mentioned, you want the slow, strategic gameplay, not just flashy and button mashing and everything. And in that regard, again, so cool. Yeah, I'm so happy we were able to like really get like just some kind of redemption for the lack of story Tears of the Kingdom had. And while it will make revisiting Tears of the Kingdom feel so much more special, and we can now see the imprisoning war and imagine what's behind the mask and who these characters are and everything, it still feels lacking. My reason for that is because, like, when you hear Kia's voice in Tears of the Kingdom, she just sounds like an ancient Mifa. She's lifeless. You hear nothing. And then when you hear her in the game, she's a queen. Her father just died. She's taking up the mantle. She's a badass. Like, she's easily my favorite Zora. Like, and it sucks because she's not even in a canon Zelda game technically, or a actual Zelda game. It's canon at least, but how do you feel?
Well, I mean, I do really like how the additions largely fit into the story we already knew, but like you said, like going back and playing Tears of the Kingdom now will be really cool because you see things like, you know, the ancient tree stump. You'll see that, and you know, that's Calamo's body, you know, thousands of years in the future, he's kind of died and fossilized or whatever. That's amazing. And even the way they fit the knight construct into the lore, which was obviously such an important part of the imprisoning war that we didn't know about previously, and what he wasn't recorded in the murals. And they give an in-game explanation for that. They kind of deliberately burn all the drawings of all the blueprints for the knight construct and deliberately don't
I was
put them in the
literally
murals,
audibly clapping and like literally, to me it was funny when they did that. I'm like, that's how you avoid all the plot holes. Erase history, because Zelda, I think, deliberately says people are gonna be talking about him for so many times. I know, it's like some, sorry, I had to do
your Zelda's on point.
But you know what I mean? Like, she was mentioning how like people got to talk about this Clink guy. These are so cool, but then it's like, oh no, we got to bury it so it doesn't become a problem because the Zonai tech is supposed to be hidden, and it's really nice, so. But
then, like, inevitably, you because they did add all these lore additions retroactively, which in a way that's kind of how all Zelda lore works, in that, you know, Skyward Sword comes out and retroactively explains, you know, Ganondorf, you know, through Demise's curse, and adds Hylia to you know, it's always the way they've done things. But then, like Kia, you do get kind of weird inconsistencies that you just have to kind of pretend don't matter. I don't know. But then we did get one weird interview recently with Hidemaru Fujibayashi. He's the big dog now. He was in charge of Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild,
as well,
and Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. So he's very important, and I'm pretty certain they've said he's directing the next one. If they haven't said that, I'm sure he will, because, you know, he's. Yep. The games he leads are very successful. He said in an interview recently, he said something along the lines of they deliberately didn't expand upon some of the history of the imprisoning war. In particular, I think he was talking about the ancient sages and, you know, their mask-off identities and stuff. And the way the article I read it in twisted it was that they held back so that there was additional content for a game like Age of Imprisonment to come in. I'm not sure if that's actually what he meant by it. It might have been sort of misconstrued a little bit, and I think maybe he just, in a way that the Zelda team often do, they don't like going into extreme detail on lore stuff, because they do like to just sprinkle a few clues in and let the community come up with their own answers, which is why it's so interesting to talk about, which is why Zelda theorizing is such a big thing and why it's so fun. So I don't really know if that's what they meant, but, you know, playing devil's advocate, if that is what they meant by that, then I really don't like that way of going about things, where you deliberately leave some things out so you can have a Hyrule Warriors of all things come in to like fill in.
Yeah, and why couldn't it be like a Champions Ballad DLC then? The Ancient Champions Ballad, the Ancient Sages. I would have had it in Tears of the Kingdom then, the game it's from, not a game that plays nothing like it, co-developed by a company that doesn't make Zelda games, and like, if that's the way of giving us a companion piece to Tears of the Kingdom, that's the worst way possible.
I'm sure that because Age of Calamity did really, really well, because it was kind of released during Breath of the Wild's, you know, the absolute peak of popularity. It's like 2020 for Age of Calamity. So like Breath of the Wild was picking up millions and millions and millions of copies all the time. It was kind of inevitable that we were going to get something like this. So I do wonder if, again, devil's advocate, because I don't really think this is how they do things. There probably was part of them that thought there will be some sort of prequel spin-off to answer some things, but hopefully that's kind of a wild era thing. I don't think I don't think Hyrule Warriors will end, of course, because they do sell really well because of their attachment to Zelda. You know, they outsell. I'm pretty confident in saying they've outsold all the other Dynasty Warriors things, like was it Fire Emblem Warriors and things, and
Dragon Quest.
So Warriors. I think we'll see more of them. Yeah. So, like, we'll see more of them for sure. But although I do appreciate what Age of Imprisonment did in terms of the imprisoning war and kind of being a bit of a bandage on Tears of the Kingdom's story, I hope that doesn't happen again. I hope the next Zelda game doesn't need some spin-off prequel to come and, like, you know, explain things that should have been better explained in the actual game. But overall, you know, a couple of months after release, it's, you know, I'm pretty happy with it, with the game. Yeah, I knew what the gameplay was going to be like going in. That didn't, you know, they, like you mentioned, there was a few additions to combat, like the weak spot things. It was very similar to Age of Calamity's Sheikah runes. You know, now you have different abilities like the dash and the uppercut that all the characters have. It was mainly just the, like you said, the clap thing was the big addition. And obviously the Calamo. Oh, wait, it's not really a tangent or whatever, but did playing Age of Imprisonment just make you want to use Star Fox?
Yeah, actually, well, okay, now that you mention it, the, you know, like you say, the Archwing sections, right? They're very much like Star Fox. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, it reminded me of, like, just any fast-paced, shoot-'em-up style game, which was super enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Something that is similar to how Warriors games play. So, I mean, I would love to see it, but again, you're reminding me of Star Fox Zero and
yeah.
No, yeah.
I was so excited for Star Fox Zero, and like,
it wasn't that bad, but
it wasn't that bad. But it was, you know, like Miyamoto is a legend, and he's responsible for so many of my favorite things. But I think that was one of his misses. Like, what was it? Like, he sometimes gets fixated on some ideas that don't go, but perhaps the way they would have if he wasn't so fixated. You know, I reckon there was a lot of people on the team for Star Fox Zero saying, maybe we just add normal controls as well. And he seemed very fixated on doing the dual control setup, which just made it so overcomplicated. But
well, I mean, funny tidbit, since we're doing this whole Star Fox tangent, I do believe that originally, without Bayonetta 2, adding the Star Fox amiibo outfit and in like a whole R-Wing section, that was the true foundation into making Star Fox Zero. And that's why Platinum Games is behind Star Fox Zero, because they're behind Bayonetta. But yeah, but that game is locked behind Wii U. And speaking of Wii U, this is a good transition to the Wii U games that are on the Switch too. It was all planned, baby. So we got Wind Waker game, Nintendo Switch, GameCube, and that immediately made people worry that we're probably not going to get the HD version. Okay, I know Wind Waker is your favorite game of all time. How do you feel, and how happy are you to have the GameCube version compared to the HD?
I'm happy to have it. You know, I'd rather have it than not have it. But it you know, it does make me feel that HD's less likely. I think now we're even in a world where we didn't have this on the GameCube emulator. I would feel that at this point, now the Switch generation is over and we're in the Switch 2 era, I don't think they can just port the HD versions, because, you know, there are Wii U games from so long.
And they have the Miiverse
if we see these
issue,
games,
they have to come up with a new concept.
Like Twilight Princess's stamps and what was it in the Wind Waker HD? The Tingle Bottles and stuff like that.
The Tingle Bottles were so cool. Yeah,
they were awesome. Yeah, but that's completely dead now. So I think I've lost hope completely. Maybe it's just me being salty that it's not happened, but I don't think we'll get Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD in the form that we're expecting them. That doesn't mean we won't see some other kind of remake. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they do a 4K version and add more things and, like you say, replace the Miiverse content with something else, or maybe we'll see that. And I don't think the GameCube version of Wind Waker rules that out particularly. But, you know, obviously I love Wind Waker. Even the GameCube version is still fantastic, but I'd rather be playing the HD version. You know, it's on your Switch 2 with that amazing screen and whatever, and
the bloom lighting.
You'd rather have the HD version.
Well, you don't like the bloom lighting. I forgot. And you've, if anything, had me come around. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think, did we discuss this? We did already, right?
I think we did. I think we did. Yeah.
But yeah, my biggest issue, okay, cool. The original cell shading, the lighting in the original game does look better. And even if it's locked by 4x3, I can still play it. My issue is a goddamn Swift Sail, bro. I can't.
It's one of those things that once you've played with it, you can't go back. Yep. It's like, even obviously the double speed is the big thing, but not having to change the wind direction is massive, because you forget just how much you have to do that, and it's like Yeah, it is a massive quality of life change that makes it difficult to play the original version for sure. And
Literally,
I've always
TP
been a bit
will
of
have that problem though. TP on the GameCube will be perfect. Missing the 16:9 and that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But like with the Wind Waker, it's like I've always been a bit of a defender of the Triforce quest. I don't think that's as bad as people say it is.
So you don't like the
in the original version.
HD version?
I don't mind it. You know, it's like it doesn't really. You know, all they did is make it so you pull up shards instead of charts, and they cut out little sections. But I don't think it was that bad in the original game. Maybe I like Wind Waker, and as a kid, for one of the reasons I love Wind Waker was that to me that was mine and my brother's GTA for so long. That was like the sandbox world that would throw up on the TV and would just. I think I've said before on the pod where like the island with the cabana. I said, you know. I don't know if you did this in games with your brothers, but I was like, this is my island, like this is my home. And I had got far enough on the save file that I could get in to the house. You know, later on in the game, you unlock that, and everyone else.
I mean, it is your house. It is Link's Steed.
Exactly. I just go in and be like, look, this is my island. That's why on my save I can go in, and my brothers would go up to the door, and like the door butler would like tell them off, and it was great. But like that, maybe that's why I don't mind the Triforce quest, because just sailing around and, you know, messing about in the Wind Waker was like, that was what my whole childhood was doing that, basically. So just more of that in the game, I don't mind. But yeah, Swift Sail and things like that makes it difficult, I think, to go back. And yeah, hopefully we see these games come back, because I think there's a lot of people, obviously it's accessible to everyone with a Switch 2 and Switch Online because it's on GameCube, but so much fewer. What am I saying? So many less people will play it on Switch Online than they will if it just came out as a remaster, you know. So I want as many people to play Wind Waker as possible. Hopefully we see, you know, bigger remasters at some point.
Mm-hmm. There's a glimmer of hope with the 40th anniversary next month. What's your hopium copium on what to expect for the 40th?
I don't know. I feel a bit like I've just been like abused by hoping for something every anniversary and being let down. Yeah. So at this point, you know, I'm just like, I don't know, I'll take literally anything. If they tweet out Happy 40th Zelda, I'll be...
Or even the Zelda movie trailer, bro. Like, they did that for Mario. It. Like, if it's not even a game. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm worried we're going to get nothing. But obviously, let's talk about the rumors, you know, that's speculating. Outside of, obviously, TP, Wind Waker, HD ports, you know, that's kind of plausible. I don't really I mean, like you said, it's probably going to stick to Switch 2 Online and that's it. But, like, that'd be cool. You know,
that would be cool.
We have Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and we still have Mario 64, and I think Sunshine's still not available on GameCube, but I'm sure it will eventually be available. And we have the Galaxy in it, so like Nintendo has re-released Galaxy separately.
They're not shy of
so
releasing
now
games
they're not
over and over and over.
Right. So that's why I believe like there is a chance. But okay, outside of Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, that's gonna come no matter what, again, if just even on the Switch Online. But what about, or Switch 2 Online, because you can't even, which makes sense, I guess maybe the Switch 1 can't handle emulating GameCube, but I just think that's...
It like, probably could. If they really tried it, it could.
Right, like it should have been also available for Switch 1. But the rumor, and I don't even know how to follow along, because every day there apparently is a new rumor of Ocarina of Time remake. How do you feel about that? Is it happening?
I feel like I'm being like gaslit or something, because it's like everywhere on the internet, like all over YouTube, all over like everywhere. This Ocarina of Time rumored, remake.
I haven't heard shit. And what are they talking about?
I don't know where it came from. I think there's like one interview where like someone asks AJ Aonuma, "Is there going to be a remaster of Ocarina of Time?" And he says no comment. And from that, you'd think it had been confirmed for years, the amount of people talk about it. And obviously, I would love an Ocarina of Time remake because it's one of the best games of all time. But I think that to people like you and me, where we grew up playing the N64 version, it's fine and it's great, and it's so nostalgic, and it still feels comfortable to play. But I think. Chunky old N64 graphics will put a lot of people off trying it. And I know there's the 3DS version, but that's you have to buy a 3DS, which is kind of an old handheld. I would love it. Obviously, I would love it, but until I've got an actual reason to get excited about it, I'm not going to get excited about it because I'll just be let down. But yeah, how about you? How do you feel?
I mean, again, like you said, I feel like I'm in gaslit because I don't see any actual information. Apparently, all the rumors are just like speculations or like leaks, or I don't know. Is it Nintendo, what's it called, trademarking the name? I really don't know what is causing people to believe that this is happening, but for some reason, this seems to be like, if there's anything to believe out of the 40th anniversary, it's Ocarina of Time, but there's literally no actual official proof that that's even gonna happen. But if that does happen, you don't know. I'll be so happy. Of course, having replayed Ocarina of Time, obviously on the channel, Zeldudes, and recently we're about there. We're about to finish it. Don't worry. We're again, give us 6-7 years. Okay, no, I'm not.
We'll get right on that.
But no, and I've been playing some ROM hacks recently, and I have noticed that Ocarina of Time has aged not as gracefully as everyone might think.
That's the thing. You'd have to put yourself into the mind of like someone who didn't grow up with a Nintendo 64. Like, how would they feel playing that now?
I've gotten comments of people, again, and no hate to people who say this. We might have a lot of people watching that they got into the series through Breath of the Wild and they legitimately tried to play older games. They weren't against it or, ageist or elitist or whatever it may be to look down on the old game. It's just they legitimately tried it and it felt clunky. Just straight up clunky. That's the best way to describe
it's a big ask, I think, if you didn't grow. Like, I love, Elden Ring and Dark Souls, but I haven't played Kingsfield. It's like you don't go back and
or Demon Souls. You're not going to enjoy
Demon
it.
Souls. It's like, exactly. It's like it's a big ask, I think. I think it's easy to lose how big of an ask it is if you grew up playing these games. I think because it always blows my mind that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have outsold kind of the entire Zelda series by themselves.
Collectively.
Like, the average, if you take like the median Zelda fan, they won't have played any other Zelda game. That's probably true. I mean, that's maybe an exaggeration, but it's not far off true. If that, I think there's so many Zelda fans now that haven't played the older games, and I think maybe there is a barrier of entry just by the fact that Ocarina of Time was one of the first proper 3D adventure games, like action adventures. It's like, well, I mean, it invented the context-sensitive like A buttons and Z targeting and all that. Like, it all comes back to Ocarina of Time. It is an old game and it does feel clunky. And I say that as like an Ocarina of Time lover, obviously. So even putting aside the fact that a remake would just be amazing for me personally, because I'd love to re-experience that game in like a new lens. It'd be so good for Zelda as a whole. It'd be an on-ramp for so many people into like what previous Zelda games were like. Although that does, I suppose, depend on what sort of a remake it is. Because I don't know how you'd feel about, because the obvious comparison is to Ocarina of Time's old, I suppose, rival from back in the day. Like Final Fantasy VII has had the treatment of a massive new high budget remake, and they've stretched that out into a trilogy, which is which is pretty mad. I know Final Fantasy VII was a massive game that came on like multiple discs back then, but I don't know how you'd feel about sort of the Final Fantasy treatment for Ocarina of Time.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was contained in one goddamn game. Like the Final Fantasy remake, it was called Remake. And then you play, and you're like, oh, this is not the whole remake. And then, oh, now we're on Rebirth. And as someone who has played both, it's definitely, they're stringing out as much as they can. And here's the thing, though. Actually, like, because I've had this debate literally with HMK, and he said he would actually be down for an Ocarina of Time trilogy. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? But here's the thing. I think coming from Zelda fanatics like ourselves, if they literally... Think about it. We're upset that, like, let's say the sages were barely talked about or we got to know about them. Imagine if they went the opposite way. They prolonged that. They kept it going. Every nitty-gritty detail. You're doing every fan service quest, everything in between. I don't think I would mind it. It would be scummy from Nintendo to try to string it out into a trilogy, but like, I mean, I'd eat that shit up. You know what I mean? Like,
I think
the Zelda fan
I
in
think
me
for
would
me,
still...
it's like, I mean, yeah, more Zelda is never going to be a bad thing. But I think for me, a big part of me would just be like, Ocarina of Time Part 2, that exists. That's Majora's Mask.
Well, it would be
I'd
reimagined.
Like, just get a move on. Get into
Final
Majora's
Fantasy
Mask,
VII
you know?
isn't the same story. It's like, it is. Oh, we're baiting you. Oh, you think it's gonna happen? Oh, is it? It's like that's what they're doing. You know, it's like almost like
right.
you know, like Cloud literally sees like alternate reality. Like it's like it's not the exact same game. That's they're trying to like, is it or is it not? So maybe they could do it with Ocarina of Time. Like, imagine Link dies by the end and it leads to the fallen timeline or something. They go like some great. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be some Final Fantasy level writing, but. Yeah, that's not gonna happen from Nintendo. So let's be real. If it were to happen, it would more so be akin to maybe a Breath of the Wild engined Ocarina of Time, more open world, maybe even go the cel-shaded route or something like that. Or maybe they would give us, I don't know, like an Unreal Engine looking game
Nintendo
made by,
Hire This Man,
kid,
sort of.
right? Like, one of those. Some kid working in his mom's basement with, you know, a computer and making... you know, some great stuff. Maybe we'll get that.
Well, that's the thing, because obviously the kind of the Varuta in the room is that there's already an Ocarina of Time remake, the 3D
like
ones,
that.
and a lot of
the dad joke. I mean, the dad joke to the max, bro. You're showing. I'm not gonna say elephant in the room. That's my new thing. I'm gonna steal that.
But like, you know, there's the 3D remakes, obviously. Which, side note, it blows my mind how old they are now. It's like 15 years old for Ocarina of Time, which is insane. And a lot of people say they'd just be happy with them ported to the Switch, which, you know, it'd be cool, but I think I'd have it's similar to where I'm coming from with the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD remakes, where like it's been so long now that I think just porting that, it'd be like, well, I don't know, like even if they upscaled it, like it runs on Citra or whatever, it'd still be like, it'd feel underwhelming after so long. You know, I think if they do this, it would have to be a full, you know, massive scale reimagining. But on the topic of like what, like how I would like it to look, I think for me, my big hope if they did do this, which again, I don't know if like, I don't know if this is like how the Ocarina of Time remake rumor started, is from people like you and me being like, oh, I don't know where it came from, but, and then having a conversation about it. We've like, you know, talked this, I don't know, yeah. But I think I'd love to see it be really gritty and dark, because I think the 3D remake looks beautiful, but I think it loses some of the kind of darkness that Ocarina of Time had.
Same thing with Majora's Mask. Both of them.
Same thing for Majora's Mask, yeah. For Nintendo 64 games, they're kind of way more towards the Twilight Princess end of the scale than they are the Wind Waker end of the scale.
I have nightmares about the game because I'm playing a ROM hack and it actually has a lot of creepy beats. I swear, if my mind starts thinking about N64 low poly graphics, I literally start having nightmares. Like I actually like, that's how vivid my imagination is, and that's how it's weird. The old school graphics, they're creepier than some realistic things because I think your imagination goes wild with it. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so trust me, I agree. Like something about the N64 games, I mean, and you know my story, how I hid Ocarina of Time from my mom. I didn't want her to play it because of the Redead. So you would not get that from the 3DS version, at least not as much, because everything's way more just lifelike and vibrant and cuter. It's not full on Wind Waker cel shaded. It's not even cel shaded. It's just, it's more vibrant. I think you're right. If they did Ocarina of Time, they cannot go the Breath of the Wild cel-shaded route then, because that would hinder the, like, just the atmosphere of a game where literally Ganon wins. Ganon wins in that game briefly, and you have to, I mean, technically Breath of the Wild, though, Ganon wins, so never mind, you know. Ganon be winning, dude. He be getting them L's, but he getting some dubs.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Like, I think it'd be, I think it would be a miss if they did reuse the kind of cel-shaded Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom thing. And I don't know whether that's a little bit because I think you probably feel the same way, that like there's this kind of sense of fatigue now with the Wild era of Zelda games, which obviously astronomically successful. It's two of my favorite games of all time. You know, I've talked about them for so many years now in so much detail that they're but I don't know. I want to move on, and
but bro,
I want to move on
it's been
from
1/4 of the entire franchise we've been on. It makes
yeah.
sense. It is time for.
And
it's
I think
been a decade.
In the same way that like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdoms, again, some people have said they want a threequel. You know, they'd like to go back to Breath of the Wild's world one more time. Which, again, that world is fantastic. It's so well designed, but. Same thing with the art style. The cel-shaded art style is so fantastic, and I think in many ways it's like the perfect middle ground for Zelda art. You know, it's not. It's kind of like it's almost Skyward Sword, but then it's a little bit more Twilight Princess, and then a little bit more Wind Waker. It's like they all blended together, and it looks fantastic. But I think they need to just move on. I think if they do another cel-shaded thing that looks like it's so clearly in the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom engine, because obviously, you know. Twilight Princess is in the Wind Waker engine, but it looks entirely different because it's, you know, completely different art style, so it doesn't make you feel like you're playing the Wind Waker. And I think there'd be a risk of, if they did an Ocarina of Time in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom's art style, it'd be at risk of just feeling kind of in those games' shadow, which it doesn't. It'd be a remake of like arguably the best video game of all time. I think it needs to just do its own thing in every single regard. Again, this might not even happen. It might all just be, you know, hot air. I don't know, but if it does happen, I'd like.
Right, we might even just get a Grezzo port of the 3DS version. Hey, I'd still be happy with that.
Yeah,
I'll take it. You know,
I'd take it, but you know, I'd be underwhelmed. I think.
Yeah. But no, I agree, and I mean, I'm not too worried about the next Zelda game or even a remake, kind of adopting a different kind of art style, because that's just Zelda. Zelda, unlike Mario, is not just necessarily trying to get better, and you just see Mario's, you know, polygon count increasing, and that's really it. Or like you can see the textures on his, you know, shirt or whatever. It's like overalls. Never mind. But my point is, I don't know. Like I have to say it right. But
it's like 20 seconds later.
No, but like Zelda, every major release, every major change, every major shift in the series is a completely new art style, a completely new just direction in how they kind of even the environment. Like, you know, again, we went from boots on the ground to sea to freaking paws on the ground to in the sky to now, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I'm hoping if, you know, like if we get anything new, it's just gonna be like a completely new art style for us to be like, wow, this looks super dope, or reimagine an older art style that, like, again, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask essentially are what their attempt at Twilight Princess was, and now it's been 20 years. Maybe it's time to give us another attempt at what. I mean, because again, the Wii U tech demo till this day looks really good. I'll be honest, it didn't age as well as I thought it did, because I revisited the video
in my mind. It's like the peak
best, right?
of like video game graphics. It's like yeah.
Like, let's be honest, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild do look better than that, but that's the next best thing Zelda has ever had. And I just think if they now, with what, 15 years, 10 years since that, 12, it's been a while since that tech demo, they've improved so much. I want to see what their realistic
15 yeah. So I remember they did that. It was a classic Nintendo blunder. Skyward Sword wasn't even out, and then they demoed the Wii U with that. So obviously all the news articles and like just kind of the average gamer, whatever, scrolling down Facebook would see that and think, whoa, let's just look at this new Zelda game. And then Skyward Sword was the next game that came out, and it's kind of a little bit more cartoonish, and like it was a weird thing to do. To
not even HD.
yeah, exactly. Weird move that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd like to see them do kind of proper gritty stuff, because, you know, like Ocarina of Time, you've already mentioned the Redeads, but, you know, like Dead Hand, and it's a dark game, and that's not even talking about Majora's Mask. That's a whole other.
Oh my god, Majora's Mask has some crazy mini bosses, like, you know, Nightmare, and like, dude, imagine those reimagined, like in the Stone Tower Temple, and there's a lot of what is it? The Great Fairy cave. There's like also, you know, it'd be the Ikana in general. Holy crap! Imagine that, just Ikana Castle, and how creepy that's supposed to be. But like actually,
the whole thing, like Pamela's father, like a proper HD
right?
mummy guy. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Again, that's why Majora's Mask is just still up there in terms of like the best Zelda game, because Zelda needs to make more games that aren't cliche or aren't trying to follow the traditional get Master Sword, kill Piggy. You know, like I think some of the better Zelda games are the ones that kind of stray away, and I'm hoping, honestly, that's what I'm hoping for the most. Honestly, next Zelda game, change it up a bit, like
do something weird.
Like Twilight Princess was like a weird Ocarina of Time, but the problem was it was still Ocarina of Time. We need something break the formula entirely. This A Link to the Past formula needs to be broken. And kind of and I guess it has been with the Wild series, but if we're gonna kind of go back to having structure with story, I think it'd be really cool to kind of see him like again. And I guess that's the main thing we all want with the next Zelda game, just really good story. Echoes of Wisdom was a great example of how you can make a semi-open world game, but have stories so
worked
crucial.
So well.
That, yep. Too bad it was a top-down Zelda game, because no one's gonna. I'll be honest, that's probably the most underappreciated Zelda game now, because no one's gonna ever
I agree.
Even think twice.
It kind of vanished from like discourse. No one talks about it, but it was so good. And you're right, it's because it was a top down. I think because it had the kind of the chibi art style, I think it kind of a lot of people just skipped it, which is a shame, because I think that represents a really good marriage of like old and new Zelda, and I think it's probably a good glimpse into what the Zelda team are working on in the future. Like that might be the kind of way they try and have the best of both worlds, because I think they really did do that well. But I was on the topic of like the 40th anniversary and things we might see. There was another weird interview. I think it was AJ Aonuma recently was talking about Age of Imprisonment, and he said something along the lines of, again, I should have done my homework and had these in front of me, but he said something along the lines of I was a little bit miffed or whatever that we weren't the ones to get a Zelda game out first on the Switch 2. Like, as in the Age of Imprisonment beat them to the punch. Koei Tecmo beat them to the punch with that, which I don't think you're reading much into it if you take that to mean that there's something from the core Zelda team, like pretty close to being done. So I don't know whether that's Wisdom,
its window from release was literally like 6 month span. So I mean,
something like that was really quick,
cool.
Wasn't it?
Imagine, Bro, don't do this to me. You're giving me the hopium copium. Now it's like, okay, what if they do have something on the 40th anniversary they're going to announce?
Who knows? I don't know. I don't want to get people's hopes up, but I don't think that's kind of misconstruing that quote at all, or like looking too far into things to take that to mean that there is something that they're pretty confident that they'll be able to get out soon. Obviously, the Zelda team and deadlines, they don't go well together. They're like, it's very rare that they set something and like hit it, which, you know, is why they make the games we love, because they take time to make them good. But still, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something soon.
Aren't we technically still following the yearly Zelda release?
I think so. Yeah, there was
2022 was the only gap, right? Or no? I'm trying to think. I think that was it since like Breath of the Wild. Or
what was 2021 was Skyward Sword. 2022.
Yeah, and then we had. It was nothing, but then 2023 we had
Tears of the Kingdom.
That was Tears of the Kingdom, and then we had Echoes of Wisdom, and then now Hyrule Warriors, and before that Link's Awakening. So I mean, if Nintendo maybe let's hope we got something this year. I mean, it'll probably be the end of the year.
Even just looking at it from like, you know, Nintendo suits and ties business thing, the Switch 2. The lineup is still pretty slim right now, in terms of like
what's revealed?
First party games.
I'm sure they must have stuff cooking up. This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The launch window's over and we still have nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of the time for like a big fat Zelda to come and help pump those numbers up for Switch 2 sales. Because I'm sure, I mean, there's probably people listening to us talk now that haven't pulled the trigger on a Switch 2 yet because there's no real Zelda content on it, Age of Imprisonment aside. So yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens. But I mean, in terms of other big Zelda news, there's the big Zelda news that we haven't touched on yet, which is we've actually seen bits of the Zelda movie now. We've seen not a trailer, but we've seen. I don't even think we've talked about the actors since the previous thing. So
I want to say it came out after the last podcast or something, that information, right? Maybe. Either way, towards the middle end of last year is when we both had our kid. Like, I believe Like my kid is literally 3 months older than Ed's kid, so it's like they're really close. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. So we were both hella busy, but yeah, no, I want to say So they announced the 2 actors, at least for Link and Zelda. So and that's probably outside of Ganon. Those are the 2 we really want to know, right?
Yeah.
So
which, I mean, I'm so happy with them. I don't know how you feel,
Same.
but like,
no,
I think
we had a similar conversation. Yep, we had a conversation about it already, I believe, on the pod, which was. First, we want it to be underground or just unrecognizable. Here's the thing: both of them have starred in roles. Just they're not Tom Holland level. You know, they're still making a name for themselves. So, like again, I know. Trust me, and you might recognize them. I know someone's already. Well, I recognize them from this movie. Okay, good for you. We don't, and that's what makes it even better. But
you're right. They're not Tom Holland. They're not like triple A-listers. Sort of. Yeah.
Exactly. Playing a lot of
this will
iconic
be their big
characters
role.
that you have to. Yeah. You'll have to now reassociate them as that character. No, this is like from now on, this actor is probably going to be cursed as Link. You know, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Too bad, bro. Enjoy it.
Exactly. It'd be like Daniel Radcliffe all over again, sort of thing.
Right.
You cannot escape the
Or
shadow
Elijah
of this
Wood.
character, which
Literally.
or Elijah Wood.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah. Which I think, you know, if you're going to be typecast as anyone, being Link is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's the same with all the James Bond actors. It's like they get stuck, you know, living in James Bond's shadow, but it's James Bond. That's cool. Right? I don't know. Like, yeah. So I'm so happy with that, and I mean, I was happy even when we first had the cast announcements. I thought they already looked fantastic. It was Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. I think he had like brunette hair in the kind of casting shot they showed of him, but he still looked like Link. He still looked great.
Yeah,
and then
Bo Braggerson.
And then Bo Braggerson just, you know, looks like Zelda. It's fantastic. And then recently, or I say recently, still a couple of months ago, we saw them in costume in kind of official promotional shots, which it looks so good. And like
it does.
It says a lot, I suppose, about movies these days that just seeing them kind of out there in the actual wilderness, you know, they're out in New Zealand in the middle of nowhere. It just looks gorgeous. And whereas obviously it's oversimplifying to say that all movies these days are on CGI screens. A lot of them are. They're not all are, but knowing that this one will be filmed kind of Lord of the Rings style, kind of as much nature, like actual nature, is just so Zelda. I don't know. I see that screenshot and it just kind of fills me with hope. And I say this as someone who is so protective of this franchise in a bit that, like, not in a gatekeepy way, but like Zelda's my baby, and I'm a little bit seeing it kind of grow up and going on the big screen where like all these people who have never played Zelda games will go and watch this. I feel a bit like, you know, a little bit worried about seeing it make that jump, but I don't know, I just got filled with so much hope seeing that screenshot.
No, trust me, I'm the same. Like, if anything, I'm worried about, like, because it's going to be a movie, you're going to have all of these, like, people who would never talk about Zelda, like, Zelda's woke, what is wrong with Zelda?
Prepare for that. Yeah, right? Prepare for that. Yeah.
So, not looking forward to that, because, again, the movie critics, they're just a different breed, you know?
You'll get it, you'll get it with Zelda, because, you know, in the film, Zelda is going to do some badass stuff because she's Zelda.
As she should.
Does in, like, every game.
It's the goddamn Legend of Zelda.
And you know you're going to get a lot of people that are upset about that because, you know, she took a moment away from Link or whatever. But, like, I don't know, play a Zelda game, especially the newer Zelda games. Like, look at what she does in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, she's like an army by herself.
Play as Zelda and Echoes of Wisdom. Screw it. Just go on full.
That's it. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that. And I know, obviously, that it's still the kind of most, maybe not the most common comment, but one of the most common comments anytime you talk about the Zelda movie is, should have been animated, which I get. You know, I would have liked to see an animated Zelda film, but I think for a live action one, this is as good as it's going to get. I think it looks absolutely dead on. And obviously, you know, we could change our minds when we see the trailer, we see it all kind of fall into place. Could look terrible. I don't know. I don't think it will, but we've only seen a screenshot, so we can't say for sure. But from what we've seen right now, I think it looks fantastic. I'm so excited.
Yep. I'll be honest. At first, when I saw it, it was a little jarring just to see, like, this is humans, like, in real life, you know. Zelda and Link, you know, so, like, I'm sorry.
Because I'm used to it. I'm used to it now. But I remember there was some people suggesting that, you know, maybe because especially Wes Ball, the director, is so big on his CGI. You know, he just did the recent Apes film, that you'd get some sort of mocap stuff made with the actors. Or do you remember like Alita Battle Angel, where it's like it's an actress, but they just made her eyes really big,
right?
So I wondered if they do. I didn't really think they would, but perhaps they do something like that. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they're just playing it straight, because I don't know. It looks.
It's growing on me, because initially when I saw it, I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like cosplayers. But like as I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's some pretty damn good cosplay. Like this is
like the details on their outfits
and the ears. Like I'll be honest, no cosplayer like let me say no. A lot of cosplays I see, if the hair isn't covering the blend, you just see. But it's like, no, those ears look. I wish the ears were more prominent, though. I feel like Link's ears, you can barely see them. I wish they were like literally sticking out. Like
Because I mean, that's one thing. Sorry, go on. I don't want to cut you off.
I just feel like it's a little hidden, so I feel like the more obvious it is, because I'm surprised they did nothing, like no face construction, because I thought maybe like, I don't know why I thought maybe like human Link would have a bigger nose or something. He's not Pinocchio, but like I don't know, I should imagine maybe like, you know, like OOT or something. But
not quite
Benjamin
Ganon,
has
like,
Benjamin does have the face though. I can see young Link in him, and I do. Okay, my favorite part is the outfit. So like, it is the best of both worlds. I know you wanted a green tunic. You wanted him to go back to
this is what I was gonna say.
Classic, right? Yeah. I actually like the fact that he's not wearing that. And here's the thing, but okay, because I know you have a theory, right? Why he's hatless? Because he's gonna find Eslo. No, I'm kidding. It's because he's probably gonna wear that.
I would pay so much money to see Eslo on the big screen. See what like normal people who haven't played the Minish Cap think of that. Just start hopping around the forest.
No, but so your theory is
I think the hat, if it is in the film, I think that'll be he'll gain that at some point. It won't be alive, I don't think, but I think that'll be a kind of a coming into his own as Link moment. It's similar to pulling the Master Sword, but a smaller version of that. But on the topic of the hat and the ears, if the hat isn't in the film and he's just wearing a green tunic without that, and like you said, I hadn't really thought about it till now, but the ears aren't as sticky out, they're kind of folded back a bit. I worry maybe a little bit that the Zelda film will kind of try and hide a little bit of the kind of the quirkiness, or the stupid's the wrong word, but like a lot of Zelda looks silly, you know, like he's a guy with a green hat with like these really massive pointy ears, and like that's part of why it's so brilliant, is all these kind of really over the top silly things. And I wonder if maybe in like a quest to look cool and look, you know, like the Lord of the Rings does on the big screen, if they'll try and kind of smooth of the edges of Zelda a little bit and kind of try and hide a little bit of the nerdy weirdness that it has. And maybe I'm looking too much into it, and the ears folded back isn't that big of a deal. But I hope they do, you know, just go fully nuts on bringing Zelda as we know it to the big screen, rather than trying to make it a little bit more generic to make it sell better, if you know what I mean by that. It
needs the quirky charm that we just love the series for. It'd feel absent if we don't have that. Because Zelda, as much as it is serious, it's also humorous. They're hand in hand. There's so many scenarios. No matter how serious the moment is, they'll always, every here and there, throw in something. Because it's at the end of the day, you're trying to have fun. And I do hope that translates again. I guess that's where the argument of people saying, well, that's why it would have been better if it wasn't live action, because they don't have to do, that kind of stuff. But again, I get where you're coming from, because overall, okay, this is the best a live action could look, so I do want to see it through. And let's just remember that this is going to bring in, again, another audience to the series. Breath of the Wild had already eclipsed what Zelda the ceiling we thought it reached. This is going to go way beyond that. And if it brings new eyes to the franchise, like the actual gaming series, that's a plus, because it means Nintendo will be forced to give us more. And I mean, now that I think about it, I really do hope Nintendo kind of pairs this game pairs a movie with the game, like kind of like they did with Mario Wonder. Like Mario Wonder came out a little bit after the movie, and it would only make sense because at the end of the day, this is a series about a video game. Like they're video games first. It's not a book. Like it's not a movie. Yeah, it's a video game.
On one hand, I'd like to say it would, it'd be a complete no-brainer, but on the other hand, it is Nintendo, so I don't know. Like it would just make so much sense to pair something. You know, it's 2027,
What if they made
so like
The Legend of Zelda, the movie, the game.
yeah. And it's like really terrible. It's got none of the polish of Zelda games. It's like,
you know, you get Benjamin Link instead.
yeah.
I mean,
back in like, I remember like back it was like kind of PS2 era was like the peak of like every movie had its own tie-in game, and like 3 of them were good. I remember like there's like Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and Return of the King. Those were really good, and then you just get like every other movie tie-in game was just like unfailingly awful. So like I hope if they do that, I hope
is that
it's
the
just
one
terrible.
that plays like League of Legends, or no?
No, that's is it Conquest or
I know
War
there's
in the North?
One
There's
a good Lord of the Rings that plays like League or something. I heard about it. I'm like, okay.
I think there's 2 that are really similar. It's Conquest and I think it's War in the North. Someone in the comments correct me if it's one of the 2, or they're both quite similar, but I think they're probably what you're talking about. They're really good as well.
Yeah.
But
So
like, I hope we get something.
If Nintendo were to make it, it'd be good. Let's be real. If Nintendo were to make an original story that's based off the movie but in a game, I doubt it would be bad. But it would be weird because they would have to. It would be just kind of like, you know, playing a Kojima game or something where, you know, okay, the main character I'm playing as is an actual actor, not a fictional character. Which I don't mind.
That would
feel a lot
really
of games
weird.
are like that. Horizon, you know, it's a game I played that's like that. Now, a lot of games do. I mean, it's official now. Link has a human appearance. He has an in real life appearance, and that is so. Just like we look at my favorite is OT Link, Wind Waker, Toon, whatever. We got in real life Link. That's from now. That's what we got to call him.
But then the thing with Zelda is it's like there's in like any of the 3D games, like even the most realistic ones like Twilight Princess, there's some quote unquote human characters that just look absolutely bonkers. Like they've got just the wildest designs for people. Like in Twilight Princess, I'm thinking of, is it Fyrus, like the clown who does like the cannon game? It just looks like like you could never get a real.
Yeah, no, Fyrus
you could never get a real human
Goron
that would look like that. Oh
but no, I think his name Fire.
It definitely begins with
Fire.
F.
I think it's literally like fire but misspelled or something.
Or in like, you know, the Wind Waker and in Breath of the Wild, like the dye shop guy, that giant balloon head, and like that's the thing with a live action Zelda film, because they'll have real people playing all the characters. You'll never be able to get some like bonkers designs like that.
You could.
It does make me
like Tingle-ish, I guess. Maybe Danny DeVito.
Yeah, that's a good, like, memes aside, because it's the meme question, but do you think you'll actually see Tingle in the Zelda film?
Yeah, I feel like they have to. I feel like they're gonna throw in a couple. They need to throw in a couple fan service. With how movies are nowadays, you always get that, you know, the Stan Lee cameo you know, they're gonna have some of those. You know, like just, I mean, even what if Miyamoto is literally the Happy Mask salesman? What if you literally just see like a guy walking and like looking like the Happy Mask salesman, or like certain masks on him, and you see it's like Miyamoto. I'm hoping they should. There's no reason not to. Yeah. And the Mario movie had like, you know, Charles Martinet was, you know,
it was like Mario's dad or something, or
he played like just a character in the restaurant or something. I don't know, but yeah, either way, they paid an homage to him, and that's how movies are, like, about, you know, find the Easter eggs, and it gives you a reason to rewatch it and stuff. And Zelda, out of any movie, should have plenty of Easter eggs in it, I hope.
I agree. Like like pitfall, I don't want to see the Zelda movie fall down, and I really don't think it will. I think it really needs to take itself seriously, and I don't want it to fall down, you know, like the Marvel formula of like there's a joke every like 30 seconds.
There's a difference between a quirkiness and charm. And
like
trying
Ganon's
to be
right behind me, like none of that.
Right?
Like I don't, you know, we don't need
Zelda
any of that.
Do that humor to begin with. That's
because like we were saying, Zelda's so goofy and so silly, but like it takes itself seriously in the world. Like you know, the Wind Waker, the story of the Wind Waker is really serious to the characters in the Wind Waker, as it should be, which is what makes it have impact and like gravitas or whatever. And if you had the characters like undermining the seriousness of the film, it'd kind of feel. I suppose it a little bit ties back to the ears and the hat thing, that like I don't want the Zelda movie to like come across as it's embarrassed to be the Zelda movie. I think it needs to just own it, you know, and just like full-heartedly go like, this is the Zelda movie, unapologetic, play it really serious, and obviously there'll be quirky things or whatever, but the main story needs to be serious, because all Zelda stories they're usually quite dark, and I think that needs to be played straight, and then you can kind of do all your quirky side characters and whatever that Zelda always does. But yeah, I hope it doesn't feel embarrassed to be the Zelda movie.
Yeah, I think that maybe it was because there was just too many Marvel movies. Because I feel like at first Marvel wasn't that bad, but I do know what you're talking about. And once you start doing that, you think you're one step ahead. Right? It's definitely more modern. And you think like the writers are like, oh, we're one step ahead of the audience. But it's like, no, you're just insulting the audience, because we're here to get into the world you're trying to build, and you're constantly discrediting it and trying to make it seem like, it's like one of those, like, I'll break the fourth wall. Pfft, what's going on? Like, we don't want that. Like, that does like take away from it. So yeah, humor. Is there certain ways to do it? But yeah, I really do hope the Zelda movie doesn't have that. Again, I think we mentioned this before, like, I don't want Link to be like, cowabunga, dude, and like, try to act like he's, beyond cool or something, which I doubt.
Zelda TV show Link in the movie.
Right.
Like that sort of character, yeah.
Right? Or
do you think
even
we'll get an
just
Excuse Me Princess?
I see. I feel like we have to, but maybe
I think they could play it straight. Like they could play it really straight. Like he missed me. Excuse me, Princess, or like just
right. Oh yeah. See, I would appreciate
like
that. If he speaks,
just so everyone else would be like doing the Leonardo DiCaprio, like the.
You get the thing.
Yeah. I hope we get moments like that, but yeah.
I do as well. But yeah, again, if like you said, as long as they take it serious enough to respect the IP, then there's nothing to worry about. And I'm sure, like you said, Wes Ball claimed to be a fan. I don't think his movies, he does the whole the thing is, Zack Snyder doesn't do it. It's the Marvel dude, James Gunn. He's not gonna do the James Gunn shtick, and that I think will be good, because if anything, Zack Snyder sucks, but like he would probably he'd direct a more serious Zelda movie, that's for sure. Like
he'd
got
go
the 4-hour Snyder cut.
to like Twilight Princess, like sort of
Yeah, probably a bad
like
thing.
super edgy sort of like yeah.
If anything, I'm happy we got someone who I feel like hasn't really honed in on one style that you're like, fuck, this is what we're getting. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a Wes Anderson, like, oh, okay, we're gonna get some weird, this is gonna be fucking trippy, and everything is gonna be symmetrical, and you know what I mean? Like, so I'm excited.
That's the thing. I think he's the kind of director that will be able to like follow whatever vision like Miyamoto and whoever else is kind of working on, rather than like. He's not a director like a Christopher Nolan or whatever that has like his own brand where you go in. It doesn't matter what kind of subject. You're watching a Christopher Nolan film and it'll be done that way, sort of thing. Yeah. I think Wes Ball seems a bit more malleable in like how he does things, and yeah, I'm really excited, and I think going into the 40th anniversary to bring it back to that, I think seeing something like maybe like in the Mario, the director, Chris Pratt, he's so cool, like showing off the whole cast. I think. That's a pretty safe bet, is having a cast announcement, because we obviously know the main two, and then through leaked footage that is kind of
Impa
kind of spied. We know the actress for Impa is I can't remember her name, but she was in not Succession, Severance, and she was great in that, and I think she looks the part for Impa.
Looks the part.
I think she'd be great.
I'm really glad they got the white hair, and they literally they look like they're the Sheikah. Immediately you can tell. You don't even have to think twice. I don't even think it's confirmed it's Impa, but it's like Zelda's right hand. That's Impa. Like we know it, right? Yeah. And that's super cool. You know what? Okay, so yeah. Speaking of which, because you were talking about silly designs, bro. What about the Gorons done? Like, what are they gonna do in a live act? I just can't even imagine.
Again, it's like.
Goron.
Wes Ball is like the mocap guy, so I don't think someone like the Gorons he'll have a problem with. I think we'll have to see Gorons and Zora and Gerudo, because they're so Zelda.
Do you think he's gonna humanify them? Maybe like make them much less, like maybe like
I hope
the
not.
Gorons
I hope not.
look
I hope
like
they're
human,
like
but have
round,
like rough skin.
Yeah.
Or like full on boulder people.
No, don't water down the Gorons. I think they've got to be just full.
I don't want them to. I'm just wondering if because it's live action, they're gonna. And plus, some movies they'll literally go out of the way to make sure you can still notice the actor. And I'm afraid
I hope we don't see that. I really hope we don't, because the Gorons aren't rocky humans. They're like, I mean, you
They're
could get away
just
with
rocks.
that. I think with like
the rocks first.
with the Zora, like
second.
exactly. But like with the Zora, you could definitely get away with making them really human, but giving them gills and like a fishy tail or whatever. Like that would be fine. But the Gorons, they're not humans. They are living boulder people. They're a completely different thing. I really hope we don't just get like stone men instead of them. That would fit.
Right.
Again,
But
that'd
seeing
be
that
like.
translate
I keep coming back to it. Like
in live action is gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
it's gonna be weird.
matter
It's gonna be
what
weird.
take.
But yeah. But I don't know. I think I wonder how they'll pull off Ganon as well, because I think a big part of that is getting, you know, a real kind of beast of a man to play him. You need someone to be huge and like really imposing to play human Ganondorf. But I think even then, like Ganondorf is kind of more physically imposing than like any real person would be.
Yeah,
right?
so
Obviously they can
might
make
have to
him.
be CG.
They can make him
They'll have to
taller.
Thanos him.
Like
They'll probably Thanos him.
they'll have
Because
to
again,
th-
the actor for Thanos
like-
was short, and he's not a big guy, but he played the most menacing,
exactly.
comic book character.
But then like things like, you know, Ganondorf's nose and whatever, I think you need that kind of really striking appearance that you probably would have to mocap him, I think. Like Thanos is the perfect example, I think, where you get an actor who can play that sort of, you know, badass uber villain, but like he doesn't have the physicality, but it doesn't matter because, you know, CGI him. But I'm so excited to see whoever plays him. Like, you know, I kind of hope I don't know. He doesn't need to be as unknown as Link and Zelda.
Exactly. And I think we said that before. We're like, as long as Link and Zelda are more underground, that's fine. Ganon can be the goddamn Rock, even though I would hate that. But he can't actually. The Rock downsized. The Rock ain't playing. It's over now. The Rock can't play.
I've heard him called the Pebble now.
Yeah, no, he's exactly.
Yeah.
So probably, I mean, Idris Elba isn't buff, but he's like. Also, I don't know why
he's pretty buff. Idris Elba. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why I go to Idris Elba. I think it's the cyber because he's done a lot of video game related things. I can see him like, you know, Ganon just seems up his alley. You know,
because it's not only
Knuckles,
physicality; it's like voice as well. You need
literally
well,
Knuckles' voice sounded too menacing
voice.
for Knuckles. Yeah, so like I feel like it fit with Ganon a lot more. Clearly he's gonna be. Like, he has to be a unit. And if he's not... Okay, again, if he's played by someone who's not that big, they'll Thanos him. Literally Thanos snap him. So...
But I think based on... Like, we've only seen 2 official, 1 unofficial cast actors or whatever. I think they've smashed it on all of them. I think all 3 are kind of 10 out of 10 perfect casting for me. I mean, we've not seen... again, I can't remember her name, but the actress who's playing Impa, we haven't seen her in costume properly. We've only seen her through this kind of paparazzi telescope lens sort of thing, but she looks great, and I know she's a good actress from Severance. So,
and why I'm not worried about the 2 who are playing Link and Zelda is I know they're actually British, so if they're gonna speak, they're gonna have the proper accent. That's something that, again, I don't know why Nintendo didn't do that with the video games. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. But for some of the video games, we got literally American or Canadian actors playing Zelda who sounds nothing like what Zelda should sound if they're going to give her a British accent. So good thing they went actual full on. Because here's the thing. I mean, they could have gotten an American actor and they could have done the British accent. But I'm glad they're trying to keep it like Xenoblade.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, obviously, I'm very biased on this, but I think
exactly.
Yeah. I'm very happy. Like Bo Braggerson's from Nottingham, where I lived there like a few years ago. It's so
crazy.
cool to have like people, you know, from where I am playing my favorite characters on the big screen. It's so great. And like, I don't know. I think going into the 40th anniversary, that's the most likely thing we'll see next year, this year now, I suppose. Is a full kind of. Because we've got ideas of what the Zelda movie is going to be like, but until we see a trailer, we're not going to get like the vibe until we see kind of things in motion, and that's games aside, because you know, who knows what we'll get in that regard. That's the big thing for this year for sure. Is the Zelda movie this is when it gets real this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, 40th for me, it's like I keep thinking back to that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Countdown picture well, I'll make sure to show it to you, and maybe we'll pop it up on screen or something. But it's like, must get the try, and then it's like a 4 force. And it's like counting down 4 days until Smash Bros.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
And ever since I saw 4 and Triforce, and like my brain now just associates 4, Triforce, 40th anniversary, Triforce. They have to do something. Nintendo, please. Okay, this is. I'm definitely reaching. I just feel like you can't. The Zelda movie's coming out too. So if they don't acknowledge it next month.
That's it. It's like it disappoints me, but I can understand why, like, on the 35th anniversary, they didn't like create something specifically for that and show it off. Like, I wish they did, but except for the Game & Watch, whatever. But now they've got things that they could show off, and when they get to the 40th anniversary, it's like the perfect opportunity to show it off. So, I hope they do. And then Ocarina of Time remake, if that's real, then that's a pretty massive
we'll finally
bonus,
figure out.
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
But okay. Only time will tell. Time is ticking. We're less than a month away. Well, no, about a month away. It really depends on if they do something. They're not going to do anything on the 21st, but whatever. We'll see. Hopefully, I really hope this ages poorly. Again, not like Milk, because Milk didn't age in Zelda. Like turnips from Animal Crossing, because in Animal Crossing we're getting Tulin and Minoru. The Minoru
That's a good segue, that was.
Right?
You're pretty proud of that, I could tell.
We forgot, but no, that's probably the last thing we should mention. It's very brief. That also was announced.
I've only seen kind of screenshots and whatever. I'm not an Animal Crossing guy. I mean, I played New Horizons in
we'll
the
cover
hype
it.
in like
Don't
COVID.
worry, we'll cover it on Zeldudes. Even for just a video, I'll show it off to you. And we'll put it.
Well, like, explain it to me and anyone else in the audience who hasn't.
So, in Animal Crossing, this has been a thing since even, I want to say, the GameCube version. I didn't play the GameCube version, but I've been playing since the 3DS one, New Leaf, and I had Epona and Ganondorf. Literally, I consider them like the fallen timeline Ganondorf, because just Piggy Ganon. They were so they were villagers. They literally lived in my village. They were residents. They spoke to me every day. They had problems losing their books, their items. They're full on, and they role play because they're actually them. They're not gonna break character. He is Ganon. Ganon's acting like Ganon. It's so cool. And something with Epona. So that was in New Leaf, though. What we're getting for New Horizons, the Switch version, we're getting a Switch 2 upgrade finally, but alongside it, we're getting a bunch of new, like, Nintendo crossover updates, including The Legend of Zelda, which incorporates a lot of, like, Breath of the Wild and other Zelda-related, like, items, because you can, have wallpapers in your house. You can have a Triforce, ornament. You can collect stuff. If you play Animal Crossing, you collect, you build. It's just like a simulator. It's Nintendo's version of a cutesy simulator. So now they're adding with the amiibo, because let's be honest, the amiibo were absolutely useless. Like, I have them all boxed because I don't. What am I gonna open it for, dude? There's nothing in it. There's literally. It's just So, my point is, now there'll be a use, at least for the Tulin amiibo and the Minoru one that's not even out, because if you scan them in the game, you'll be able to unlock them as villagers, and literally you'll have a little Tulin Animal Crossing character, like talk and live with you, and then you'll have Minoru, which, again, Minoru being the Zonai Minoru, because I say Minoru, I think of the construct. Even the amiibo is based off of her construct. No, it's gonna be just because she looks kind of like a llama, but standing tall or something. The Zonai don't look that. They're very animal-like. Just with third eye. A llama with 3 eyes. So
that's pretty cool. Okay, is that that's not out now?
So it comes out like the 20th or 20th. It's this month. It's going to be a part of the Switch, so it's soon. If anything, I literally had to reboot my Animal Crossing file, start it fresh, and just have my villagers waiting for those two to join.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that when that drops. We'll have a look at that, because, like I said, I played a bit of New Horizons for like 2 weeks back. Because it dropped during COVID, so it was huge. I remember at the time, because everyone was not able to do anything. So, new Animal Crossing game. I was like, I've never played the series. I'll give it a go. And I bounced off it then, but maybe with the Zelda characters, I'll give it another go. Yeah, that's what I felt
Definitely.
like. It's like, you know, at least, yeah.
It is. No, I mean, even right now, I'm just doing my chores to make sure I have money to open up the island to get them in. Like, it is just that.
Right.
But again, the Zelda characters will make me at least want to revisit it daily and just see what they're up to.
Yeah.
It is really cool. Like, that concept. I'm glad we... Here's the thing. Ever since the Animal Crossing, like you said, during COVID, I thought we would have Zelda characters by now, but like it took them this long. It's the same thing with Monster Hunter. So in the old Monster Hunters, we'd get Zelda DLC, like, you know, you can dress up your character as Link, or have your cat, you know, look like the Skull Kid, or so, you know, there's really cool outfits. And then for the newest Monster Hunter that came out on the Switch that was exclusive, which was Monster Hunter Rise, nothing. It's weird, just Nintendo, they're just not the same. They're not doing the crossovers and the nice little like stuff that they used to do. It's just, it just feels a lot like everything is a lot more bare bones. But again, at least we got something finally with Animal Crossing, so can't complain.
Yeah. We'll check it out.
Late.
But yeah, I guess that's everything we needed to cover for this one. And a little bit of a comeback episode, which we're kind of used to doing these comeback episodes now. Yeah.
But don't worry.
This one was a longer break. But
it shouldn't be this long again. Again, huge life changes between the both of us. We both had our kid. Again, we're Zeldads, dudes, same thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're back, and hopefully, you know, we're ready to get back to things. Because Ocarina of Time, like we mentioned earlier, haven't finished that, but we're going to finish it now. And
gonna finish it. We've got like one episode left, 2 episodes.
Literally,
like that. I don't know.
It's
We're
a
like
shame
at the
that
finish
it's been
line.
sitting, right? Like, the ultimate cliffhanger. So do expect that.
Yeah.
And just more from us. We won't be this absent. You'll definitely hear from us more frequently than this. It won't take 6-7 years. You know, an adult time.
Exactly.
You know, I was talking about the Master Sword. I wasn't doing a meme or anything, you know.
But thanks for watching or listening or however you interacted with us this time. But I suppose take care and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Peace. All right. Sweet.